The S&P 500 posting its ninth record close this year. Our next guest, get this, says she sees the index hitting 7,000 by year end. And I asked someone the other day, how's next year look? You're even giving me something for that, Marianne. 7,200 by the end of next year. Bitcoin, 150,000. Wow. You're a wild woman. This is Ann Bartels is here with Sanctuary Wealth. You are not afraid. You're fearless.
Well, that's after 40 years of being in the business, Joe. I've developed some confidence in the analysis that I'm able to do. And, you were right. You said that, we need growth and AI, and I think it's coming. I think it's going to significantly impact corporate earnings, productivity, and it's going to show up in the equity markets. And Joe, it's not just a bull market here. It's a bull market globally. You're seeing European markets break out. I think you're going to get the Japanese market to break out. It's a global secular bull market driven by all this new innovation, from AI to blockchain to crypto to Web3. And I don't think all of this is yet priced into the market. And you can see we're already in a summer melt-up. The market is not positioned for this yet.
That was a point that was made by Kevin Warsh yesterday. I don't know if you saw it, Marianne, that there are powerful disinflationary forces coming from AI. And if you think about the internet, none of us had any idea what that was going to usher in. And if this is more powerful, what happens with AI than the internet, think about in terms of it maybe not just disinflation, but the amount of, I guess, if you have growth, deficits, and debt becomes, less cumbersome. And therefore, there could be perhaps a secular disinflationary trend from technology, which is pretty exciting. But we could have lower rates and not worry about it.
And I agree with that. I do think rates are trending down and can go much lower than people expect. Right now, we're in heightened fear that tariffs are going to bring inflation. And I think over time, especially trending into next year, we can get rates down. And that's going to be another stimulus for risk assets, for the equity market, for the crypto market. And then maybe finally we can get something moving in the housing market if we can get rates down.
Marianne, you didn't start the year at 7,000, did you?
I started the year at 7,200. And when tariffs hit...
Yeah, go ahead.
So when tariffs hit, we did mark down that if we did go into a recession, those targets wouldn't be hit. But since after we went down 20% from the tariffs, we've been raising our targets ever since. And so I'm comfortable getting to year end at 7,000. And I think in the first quarter of next year, we might even be at 7,200. What I learned is that I shouldn't have changed my forecast. Right.
A lot of people, I'm watching crazy stuff happen. They start the year at, sometimes if you don't look at where they were and just where they are, you don't see that they're just almost wherever the market goes becomes their target near term for where they are. So that, we don't need to mention any names. How does Bitcoin factor into that? Because if it's disinflationary, it makes the whole, maybe it hurts the argument for fiat, declining and Bitcoin being the place to go.
Well, with the passage of the Genius Act and having stablecoins and having stablecoins having to be backed by short-term U.S. Treasuries, that's not going to hurt the dollar. I think the story and the trash of the dollar is completely wrong. I think the demand for the dollar over time is actually going to go up. And as for Bitcoin, I always called that's the currency that we didn't have when we created the internet. And Joe, we're going to really be transforming, displacing how we actually move money, not just here in the United States, but around the world. The system is going to get a major upgrade as we shift to digital. So when clients ask me about Bitcoin, I said, just think about digital currency. Bitcoin is your digital currency. And Joe, the other analogy that I use for our investors is think of Star Trek. The technology that you see throughout Star Trek is really becoming our reality. From Kirk with his flip phone, and then you had Star Trek, the new generation, and all their consoles were iPad. The communications officer had an earpiece. You had a robot called Data. Well, what was the currency on Star Trek? It was credits. And Bitcoin is a credit on the blockchain. Stable coins are a credit on the blockchain. So all you need to do, Joe, is go back and rewatch Star Trek to know that this is the new reality that we live in.